Along with the smoothly crafted dining tables, there's a fireplace along the far wall with labeled jars on the mantel. The place is fairly busy for this time of day, and only a couple of tables are open. Per usual, Leanna speaks with the innkeeper. I see him point towards a couple by the fireplace. When she returns, she drops a key in my hand.
Here's the key to your room. I figured we're going to be spending the night here.
That seems like a fair assumption. I nod as I pocket my key.
The innkeeper doesn't know how to get to Embermist, but he says that couple comes from the far desert.
Oh.
They might know.
Okay, cool. Maybe we should split up. We can cover more ground that way.
Good idea. I'll go talk to that couple first.
Cool. Okay. As Leanna walks off, I survey the room. Ask group of adventurers. Ask the cute girl. Ask the loner in the corner. Okay, does that mean Amelia? You know? Because I think she would be the best bet, but since it just says ask the cute girl, then I feel like I might just be flirting. And I don't want to do that. I want to genuinely be asking people about Embermist. I don't want to assume the loner would know, and if he wants to be alone, I don't want to disturb him, so I'll ask the adventurers. I approach a table of misfits. These guys look like they're well-traveled. There's a tall, bulky man wearing fur boots and a loincloth and very little else. His muscles ripple as he takes a swig from his tankard. Beside him is a short and stout bearded man. Gold is entwined in his braided beard, and a scar runs from his bald head down to his cheek. The last member of their party is a lithe, blonde, elegant man. A bow is slung on his back, and his glossy hair spills around it. Hey there! The blonde man grins while the other two peer at me.
Well, aren't you a tall, refreshing drink of water?
Thank you.
I'm Randall, but you can call me Randy.
He winks. Well then. Hi, I'm Riz. I hope I'm not intruding. I just had a quick question.
Not at all. Ask away.
Do any of you know how to get to the city of Embermist? Randall laughs.
Do you still believe in those fairy tales? Embermist is just a myth.
I think it's a real place. The bald man frowns.
The city's underground.
This time, the hulking barbarian cracks a smile.
You believed in it too? Of course not. But if it did exist, it would be underground. Otherwise, why hasn't anyone been able to find it?
That's fair, honestly.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Says the person too dumb to wear clothes. I'm wearing clothes! Your underwear doesn't count.
The two continue to bicker as Randall tries to soothe them both. I slowly back away. It wasn't very helpful. I'd rather ask the cute girl before the loner. I approach the pretty redhead by the bar. Hey there. She smiles.
Hi.
Oh. Are you looking to join a party?
I can be.
I sit down beside her. Have you been here long? She gives me a curious look.
Long enough to know that I haven't seen you before.
I feel like I've heard her before, like when I went to that one event with Sho. I'm just passing through.
Oh, where are you headed?
Is it the same as Valerie too? I'm just wondering. To Embermist. Suddenly, her smile drops. That's not the reaction I was expecting.
Embermist doesn't exist.
I frown. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. Alright, never mind then. Her smile drops again and she grabs her drink. She sways her hips as she walks and approaches the man who's drinking alone. Her alluring smile returns as she sits down beside him and touches his hand. Wait a minute, is she a consort? Let's pretend that didn't just happen. Looks like I'm not having much luck. I wonder how Leanna is doing. Judging from her pout, she had about as much success as I did. We make our way back to the bar.
Greetings.
See, you're the person I was trying to talk to. Amelia waits for us by the bar, but I'm startled to see your presence. Leanna looks just as shocked.
What are you doing here?
I've come to accompany you on your journey.
Professor Xavier made it very clear that you were to stay at the academy.
His logic is rational, but my presence and assistance is far more beneficial for you than it is for me to remain at the academy.
I mean, technically... What assistance?
I am aware of the location of Ember Mist.
Oh, well, that's really helpful. Thank you. Where is it?
How is that possible?
How I know is irrelevant.
It's kind of relevant. Alright, if you know, then tell us where it is.
I will gladly impart this knowledge into you should you accept me as a travel companion.
But the Academy won't let you go.
She shrugs.
If I cannot go, then I suppose neither can you.
Wow. Leanna bites her lip. I can tell she's torn. We should let her join.
We shouldn't go against a direct order from the Mage Academy.
What other choice do we have? She frowns. Nobody at this inn knows the location. I doubt we'll find anyone else who can tell us how to get there. Are you really willing to give up this lead? Leanna runs her hand through her hair as she thinks. She steals glances at Amelia, who watches us with hawk eyes. Finally, Leanna's expression softens and she nods.
Fine. You can come with us, but only on the condition that you let us bring extra protection.
I mean, the way I see it is if she doesn't want to stay at the academy, like, I'm not gonna force her to stay there, and frankly, I don't think the professor should be able to force her to stay either. They, explained the risks, and if she's aware of them and is still wanting to take those risks, I say that she should be allowed to go for it. Beyond that, the Mage Academy has no authority over me, so, if Leanna didn't want to accept her, but I wanted to accept her, then I could just be like, well, Leanna, you don't have to come with us. Like, we're just doing this so I can find answers about how to get back home, so, whatever.
That is a logical conclusion. I am not opposed to it.
All right. I'll see if I can find some mages last minute.
No!
No, not mages. Both Leanna and I stare at Amelia.
Mages will alert the Academy of our proposal.
And then they wouldn't let us go.
Correct.
I suppose that makes sense.
So they could really just force you to stay? Like, when I went to university, they couldn't tell me not to go places. Like, sure, I'd get a failing grade or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that if the university is really just there so you can learn magic, and if she's already a prodigy, does she really need that? Also, if they were willing to, expel her or something, that'd be a pretty big deal, because having a prodigy like this at your academy really says something for the academy itself, and I think people would really like that publicity. I don't think that they would be willing to get rid of such a star pupil like this.
I guess the only other option is to hire a mercenary.
Ah, if only we knew where a mercenary was. She grins.
And I think I know just the guy.
Leanna and I scan the inn for any signs of Zach. She spots him in a secluded corner of the inn, drinking alone.
Hey, Zach.
I wonder if that was the loner. He looks up from his tankard. If he's surprised, he doesn't show it. He nods his greetings.
Guess things went well at the academy.
As well as expected. I'm actually here to do business.
Zach cocks his head slightly.
You have my attention.
We need protection for our newest companion.
She nods towards Amelia, who merely stares at Zach. He gives her a once-over.
Isn't she a mage?
Yes, but a student.
That is not an accurate description. I am...
Leanna glares at her.
A student.
While not untrue, I have fulfilled the necessary curriculum to be considered.
Amelia!
Leanna is clearly exacerbated. Amelia cocks her head to the side and studies Leanna curiously. Anyway, what we're trying to ask is, are you for hire and will you accept this job? Zach pauses and takes a long swig from his drink. He looks from me to Leanna to Amelia, then pauses again. Finally, he nods.
All right.
Really? That's great.
What are your rates?
We're headed to Ember Mist.
Zach raises an eyebrow.
The hidden city?
We have someone who knows the way.
Zach's gaze falls on Amelia.
Interesting.
Alright, now that we have our team, what do we do now?
There's no point in beginning our journey when the sun is almost gone.
That's true.
I should return to the academy before my disappearance is observed.
Good idea. We can reconvene here tomorrow morning.
The three of us leave Zach alone and Amelia heads out of the inn. Just as she leaves, a group of young adults burst in. They laugh loudly and their cheeks are flushed as if from dancing or running. A circlet of flowers is on each of their heads. Leanna gasps.
Oh, the festival!
Festival?
Yeah, It's a celebration of the spring equinox.
Yeah.
Do you want to go check it out?
Just YA. I don't like YA as yeah. Especially again, if in the past you use YEAH, be consistent. Sure. Sounds fun. Leanna grins.
It is. It's one of my favorite festivals.
We exit the inn. Although the moon has traded places in the sky with the sun, the streets are still bustling with people. Leanna and I follow the crowd until we reach town square. Colored strings of crystal lights hang from the large cherry trees lining the perimeter of the square. Their light spills soft rainbows on the smiling faces of the townsfolk. The heavenly aroma of spices and grilled meat entices me towards the festivities. A simple stand is set up on one side of the square where musicians play a jaunty tune. They tap their feet in time to the beat as dancers whirl around the center of the square. As we pass through the square, giggling girls offer circlets of flowers. Leanna happily accepts hers and lets the girl place it on her head.
It's so beautiful. Everything looks so different.
Her eyes sparkle and she taps her feet to the rhythm of the music as she watches the pairs of dancers jumping and twirling. For the first time since we've met, Leanna's face holds no trace of caution. My eyes are drawn to her as her smile lights up her entire face. She turns towards me and I quickly look away. I hope she didn't catch me staring.
Would you like to dance?
That was cute, getting that pose. I'm up for it. Time for some bumping and grinding. Can you handle my mad boy skills? Or is it supposed to be b-boy? I think unfortunately I just have to be true to myself and say I can't dance. Sorry, I can't dance.
No worries, I'll show you.
No, I mean I won't dance.
Aw, come on, it's easy.
Before I can protest, gosh, that's one of those words I hate. Before I can protest, Leanna grabs me.
Let me show you how we do it here.
Okay, that's fair. She takes my hands in hers and pulls me to a more secluded area on the dance floor.
For this song, we're gonna raise our right hands up like this so they touch.
She bends her elbows and holds up her arm to eye level. Then she moves my arm so it matches hers. I can feel the warmth of my fingers of her fingers as I brush my own.
Our hands will stay here, and then we use our right foot to step to the right. Then left foot back. Then we'll shift our weight front and back in a ball change.
Of course, yes. As she speaks, she demonstrates the steps.
Then we do the same thing on the left. Left foot left, right foot back, and ball change. Then we step to the right and spin from behind.
I think I'm seeing it.
Come on, try it with me.
Yeah, I think I see it. All right. We get into position and Leanna counts off.
5, 6, 7, 8.
First I step. Oh, shoot. Remember and repeat the icon pattern. Okay. Okay. I win! I am the winner at dancing! Matching Leanna, I step with my right foot.
That's it.
Then I step with my left foot to the back and do a ball change. Next we do the same thing on the left side. Then we step with our right foot and spin. Oh shoot, there's more. Crap. Okay. Okay. Did I win? I am the winner dancing a second time! I step to the right and spin from behind. Leanna and I are a step apart. Did we do this right? Are we supposed to be this far apart?
Yeah. Normally, we'd be facing our new partners, and we do the whole thing over again, starting with our left foot.
Gotcha.
And once that's done, we'll be facing each other again.
We go through the steps another time, and I manage to dance it perfectly.
Wow, you're a natural. Are you sure you've never done this before?
Her warm grin is infectious, and I find myself grinning just as broadly. It's because I had such a great teacher. Aw, little blushies. Her cheeks flush, and as she's about to reply, our gazes meet. Leanna's breath catches in her throat, and she seems to forget what she's about to say. For a second, I forget about the crowds of people around us. All I can see is her. Then someone jostles us, and we quickly look away. What just happened here? I catch her glancing at me, and she smiles shyly.
So, do you think you're ready to join the rest of the dancers?
I'm game if you are. I hold out my hand, and she accepts it with that same coy smile. Then I lead her out to the dance floor. We dance late into the night until our feet ache and our throats grow hoarse from laughing. The party is still going strong as Leanna and I return to the inn and head into our separate rooms. I haven't had that much fun in ages. As I fall into my bed, I enter dreamland with an immense smile on my face. So I think... There we have the music. And save there, and then menu, save. So we got the full thing. We've quick saved and we've saved in the menu, so now we know that it's been super saved. So now, before calling this session here, let's talk about this. So I've been recording now for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. So this is my first time ever playing the game, and so far all of the videos up to this point have been from my first sitting with it. And I will say, yeah, so far I really do enjoy this game. I think that it's been a lot of fun. Let me see if I can get some background music.
Is everyone now prepared to begin our journey?
You shut up, Amelia. I want background music, not your sass. All right, we have background music now. But yeah, I think this game has been a lot of fun so far. Some big differences between it and Ace Academy. Well, first, there's no, like, characterization in the sense of, again, in Ace Academy, you got to pick whether you were athletic or intelligent or charismatic, basically, was what it was. And those three things, they didn't have a huge effect, but they did change some things. And I know that's just because in the playthrough that I had on my channel, which if you haven't watched, you should check it out, I did the intelligent choice. And so for like studying for tests or things like that, you know, answers would often be in green, and so I could click on that and just kind of ensure that I was right. But then in my second playthrough that I did purely off camera in order to get Coyote's route, where I was being a pervy dick, I picked athletic, and there were some differences, but it was nothing huge. Like, it wasn't anything really game-changing. It introduced a couple different options, and those options would, like, kind of guarantee you were successful in that endeavor, in that attempt. And I remember one time in particular, when we were at the beach at Ace Academy, or, you know, in Ace Academy, Coyote throws you the volleyball at the end, and I remember during my Intelligence run, you know, I had the timer, and you could either, like, drop it or catch it, fumble it, you know, there were different options, you had to pick one of them. I purposely picked drop it because I thought that fit my character, and Coyote wasn't impressed. When I had my athletic character, it didn't even give me choices, he just caught it. You know, it just had normal descriptive text pop up saying that he, like, effortlessly caught the ball and passed it back and whatever. So there were some differences with the characterization in Ace Academy in that sense, but it wasn't anything huge and game-changing. But that's absent so far from this, and I say so far because they technically could introduce it, but I think at this point, if they were to introduce something like that, that might be a mistake. I was thinking, honestly, that we might kind of reach that point at the Mage Academy, where it's discovered that we have, like, some potential or whatever, and then we kind of have to pick our specialization, like what we want our character to focus on throughout the rest of the game. Even then, though, that would have been, I think, a little late. And something else that's been, well, really obvious to me is that we haven't really met many characters so far. I mean, as far as main characters go, there's Leanna, there's Zach, and now there's Amelia. Again, 2 hours and 40 minutes into this game, and we've met 3 characters. If this is going to be a game with romantic elements where I can romance a particular character, it seems weird to me that we're encountering these characters so late into the story. I feel like the romantic element, honestly, might be strictly for Leanna, because, again, to go back to Ace Academy, just to kind of compare, you don't... So in my playthrough that I had on my channel, I ran into Yuna first, and that's because of the choices that I made. And then in my other playthrough, the one I did on my own time, I actually ran into Coyote first. It was different. And so, again, depending on the choices I made. But in this game, you didn't... I don't think you met Leanna because of a choice, really. I feel like... Was there a choice? It was with... I guess I made a couple decisions with Pongo, but I didn't think anything that would, like, dramatically change things. Now I'm actually really curious, because I was thinking that there wasn't a choice that made me run into Leanna. That just was how the story was, you running into Leanna. But I guess it technically would be possible with, like, those 1 or 2 choices I had dealing with Pongo, whether I ran away from him or not. Maybe I could have run into someone else. I don't know. Genuinely curious. Genuinely curious. But the fact that in 2 hours and 40 minutes, you know, we barely just met Amelia, I feel like this is more focused on a romance with Leanna, if anything. I don't know, but that's just how it seems right now. I mean, especially considering we already did have, again, we just barely met Amelia, and we already had a bit of a romantic scene with Leanna, like just now with that dancing, with her blushing and everything, with our gazes meeting and like we're holding that connection, that kind of thing. So if that's the case, I'm not necessarily opposed, but I am surprised. And then I do wonder, you know, what the intent is specifically with introducing these new characters as they come along. I figure, of course, time will tell, but I wonder if too much time will pass for those other options to really be viable. Because even in Ace Academy, like, the latest person who showed up, you know, that you could romance was Valerie. But she wasn't that much later. I think she was just, like, day 2, like, the second day. And I feel like the first day went by faster than, like, the first day in this game. Again, I could be wrong. I could be misremembering things from Ace Academy. I could be misinterpreting things about this game. And I could just be blinded, you know, of the other possibilities. You're just unaware of them because, simply put, I haven't experienced them. I haven't played them. I only know the game one way, and I was surprised when I replayed Ace Academy with what little things were different and what things were the same. So it was interesting to compare it in that sense, and now experiencing this and trying to draw comparisons to that, that's been interesting too. But yeah, I like the story so far. I do like the characters so far. The animation of the characters, you know, is growing on me more. When I do watch their lips move, I still think it's a little weird. Usually I'm reading the text and so I don't see it. But just because, I think at this point it's just because it's just this. It's just up and down. This is all the mouths are. And so it doesn't exactly fit. Like, it kind of fits with the timing, but not with the words. You know what I mean? But I think the animation was a good change. Definitely shows that they have better funding. However, if they don't finish the story, I'm going to be very upset because they didn't need the animation. Ace Academy was just fine with the pictures that they had, you know? I do this for pictures. I don't know. Yeah. But I do like it. I do think this is an improvement. I still am perfectly fine, again, with Ace Academies, but it is cool to have this animated sort of character model that we can see. Trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, obviously I talked a lot about English and grammatical things, and I still stand by that stuff. But again, it's not like out of, you know, hate or anything like that. Again, I find it fun, and I think they should have been better about it. It's a mix. It's not me being mean. It's me being critical. You know. I think that, you know, as a professional thing, you should probably check that stuff a little bit more. You know. Like, I'm fine if you're gonna have 2 hyphens instead of a dash, even though I do think there is a way that you could probably fix that to make it look better, to make it an actual dash. But there are just a number of things, you know, grammatically speaking or syntactically or things like that, where you could fix it. And sometimes with the voice acting too, there are times where you could do a better job with the pronunciation or the emphasis on certain words. There are definitely times when I'm reading this where I could absolutely use better pronunciation or emphasis or things like that. I'm not excluding myself from that. I'm not excluding myself from using improper grammar all the time. But this is like a professional production. And so whether or not I'm saying that that means that, you know, your consumers deserve like grammatical perfection or whatever, it's not necessarily it. But I think that you should just take a little bit kind of more pride in your product here, in your project, in your passion. And I think that because of that connection that you should have with it, you know, creator and project, that, you know, you should try to take a little bit more care with it just to make it as good as possible. Because at least to someone like me, those little changes would make it better. You know, I wouldn't constantly be distracted, not constantly, obviously, exaggeration for a point. I wouldn't be distracted as often by those little things, and I would then be more focused and be able to dive in a little bit more deeply into the story. That's the way that I see it, because how many times have I broken away to talk about something related to English, or to like even Google something on my phone to see about a particular pronunciation or a spelling or definition? A few times. 3, I think. Maybe 4. And so while it's not like it doesn't ruin the game, I'm just saying that I feel like you would want to polish it just a little bit more, because I don't think it would be too daunting a task, and I definitely think that it would be worth it, just because you should be able to take all the pride that you can in the hard work that you've already put into it. Why not put in just a little bit more hard work? That's my opinion. As far as story goes, I don't know, I don't have anything specific to talk about yet. I like it in general. Again, I like this fantasy aspect, and I do think I like the story here better than I did like the story in Ace Academy. However, I do still wonder about the whole... I do wonder if there's a connection, because they've just kind of been broad. They've been kind of vague on that. I mean, even when the biggest thing that seemed to kind of be saying it wasn't related to Ace Academy was when I described the university to Leanna, and there was nothing there relating to gears or mechs at all, you know? However, if that kind of thing is just kind of common in the world of like Ace Academy, which it is, then maybe you wouldn't specifically bring that stuff up. Maybe you would just talk about how it's a normal university where you have to get your da-da-da or whatever, or maybe you would say it's a specific university that caters to this and that, but you don't necessarily include the whole mech part. So I'm just saying it seems like it could still be tied to Ace Academy. A lot of that is just because I started in the Ace Academy library based upon the picture they used. I'm pretty sure that was the same picture. Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure it was. But beyond that, I really hope it's not a dream. It doesn't seem like it's a dream at this point. It seems like it's a legitimate thing where they're trying to say like, temporal distortion, parallel worlds collide kind of thing, which is a lot better, a lot cooler. Because again, I like that kind of story. I was just afraid that they would make it a dream thing, and that it just delegitimizes a lot of stuff. Because if it's a dream, everything that happens here, once we reach the end and the character wakes up, it kind of doesn't matter. The character could be like, oh, that was a cool dream, and maybe his character will be affected in the sense of like his morals changed, or he learned some kind of lesson. But most likely, it would be a cool dream, he'd forget about it, maybe he would write a story about it, and it would live on in some sense, but the better thing would just be to have this be reality. So I'm really hoping they go that route, or they do enough to change my mind throughout the gameplay. You know what I mean? Because, again, these are my thoughts now. They very well could change. Regarding anything I've said, they could change over the course of me playing the game. The last thing I think I want to talk about is, again, relating to the story, but the character wanting to go home. I get it. I definitely get it from a story perspective too, of like, well, the character needs a goal, otherwise what are we gonna have them do? And the goal of the character right now, yeah, is to learn about what happened to him, how he ended up there, what he could do to get back, etc. So that gives the story substance, you know, it gives these characters something to do, something to try to accomplish. Now they're being sent on a journey to a city that supposedly doesn't exist to try to find that answer, to try to get him back home. But I have to wonder, why does he want to go back home? Why does he want to go back home? I don't know. He seems to be having a great time here, and you know what he hasn't really talked about? Any great times he's had in USA. You know, he's never really talked about that. He hasn't mentioned family, he hasn't mentioned friends, he hasn't mentioned a significant other. Maybe that's just because they're trying to leave the main character like as blank slate as possible so that we, the players, can better project ourselves onto him. However, they're giving the player a good amount of personality, even choices aside. And so that's not really blank slatey. Again, you have to give them some character if they're going to be the ones like picking options and like responding, interacting with the characters of this world, because we as players cannot do that directly. He is the middleman, the main character, that is. But he hasn't talked at all about his past. And he said that he remembers it all. Maybe it would be good to have some of those memories. Maybe it would be good to know what exactly I, as the player, the main character, what we're fighting for here. Why we so badly want to get back to Earth. Is it just because it's familiar? Because day one, you bought armor and a sword. Because you wanted to, you know? I feel like, I don't know, the motivation to get home just doesn't seem that clear to me. And maybe that's just because I'm odd. Maybe most people would immediately be like, well, yeah, of course he has to get back home. That's his home. But, you know, if you don't have, like, big family ties or friend ties or things that are actually keeping you in that place, why do you want to go home so badly? I don't know. My younger brother and I, we've had this discussion of things like Sword Art Online or Log Horizon, basically like anime that takes place in a like an MMORPG. We've talked about what if that was a serious thing? What if that actually happened? Would you do it? Would you go into that world? And frankly speaking, if like my family would go with me, absolutely I would. Absolutely I would go live in that world. Oh, but it's not real. Like your body is just lying in a bed and it's just in your brain. Yeah, that's all right. Like if we're all living in that same condition, that's okay. I don't believe this, but frankly speaking, we don't know that that's not the case for our current lives. As far as we know, we could be in the same situation where our actual physical manifestation is somewhere unconscious, and what we're experiencing right now is just unconsciousness. You know, it could be the case. I don't know. I don't think it is. Again, I'm clarifying. I think that this is reality. But I think that that kind of thing would be cool, frankly speaking, like going and living in an MMORPG. The only thing I would miss some things, but the biggest thing that would keep me tied to this world is my family. And so I wouldn't want to go without them. And that'd be the hard part, you know? If some of them didn't want to, then I think that I would stay, but I'd feel bad for missing out on the opportunity to go live in the world of an MMORPG. Again, looking at Sword Art Online, even though that anime wasn't very good, like I enjoyed it, but it was not great. There were so many things that could have been improved on. Point is, I would still, it just sounds nice, you know? And this, the world that they're presenting so far, life on Terra, it seems genuinely pretty nice. This is a romantic look at a fantasy sort of setting. You know, it's not like the grueling, dark, medieval stuff that they're showing us. This is romantic fantasy, and I like that. I mean, is it my favorite genre? Not necessarily, but I like it. So, those are my thoughts so far. I hope that you guys are enjoying this game so far. Let me know what you think about it so far in the comments below. You know, whether you like it, whether you dislike it, what you think about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. And I do really hope you are enjoying this. And I hope that you're looking forward to more videos in this series because I'm having a good time with it. I don't know how long this game is, but it's probably going to last a little while. I would imagine it would last at least as long as Ace Academy, but frankly, I imagine it's going to last a little longer because Ace Academy, they went further than they thought they were going to be able to go with the money that they had available to them. And these guys, if we're basing this on the animation, they have even more money this time, you know? Maybe they won't go farther. Maybe they'll actually just further. Maybe they'll actually just have a better story, you know, like tie up loose ends, things like that. Or maybe it'll be a longer game. Hard to say. But for now, thank you guys again, and with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!